Then topical back with another video. I'm Strange Wang. Today I have a special video that comes around once a year, and that's because it's my top 10 favorite movies of the past year, top 10 favorite movies of 2023. But before we get into that, thanks button on this video, click it, donate some of that bob manure, that cheese, that cheddar, that mozzarella, help out the YouTube channel. And if you don't want to help out the YouTube channel in a financial aspect, you can always subscribe. It's free. And it's also greatly appreciated. But let's get into it. At my number 10 spot, we have Dumb Money. Dumb Money is a very interesting premise about something that happened a few years ago with the GameStop stocks. And it's fucking great. It works as an underdog story. It makes you feel like you can take on the world. And for an underdog story, that's what you want. I love underdog stories. I got out of the theater from watching this movie. I called up the baddest chick I know. I got a date with her. But then I wasn't watching Underdog Story, so I was nervous on the date, and I didn't really talk to her too much. But if I were to watch Dumb Money again, I probably could have got laid that night. Movies, they are supposed to provoke emotion. Every emotion this thing is trying to provoke, it does. It makes you feel motivated. It's funny. You are invested in the characters. It has a really good script where it shows a wide variety of characters that don't interact, but you care about each and every one of them, and you know enough about them to have that investment in those characters. So top to bottom, Dumb Money had to make my list because it works on every level. And I didn't think I was going to really care because I remember seeing about the GameStop stocks, and I wasn't interested in it 2 or 3 years ago, but I was very, very interested the whole time while watching this movie about it. At my number 8 spot, we have Elemental. How Pixar and Disney broke this down to race is, to me, is so basic, is genius. And sometimes the best things in life are just plain basic. You don't think about it because your brain's going crazy. Our lives are too complex. So to have something broken down so simple where kids can enjoy it and adults can enjoy it, the message in it is perfect. It's a message that's going to live on for a very long time, unfortunately. But it's a message that's needed. And even though if you do feel this way, a good reminder is always nice to have in your life. Elemental, it works on every level. It doesn't hit as much about race as it does cultural differences. And I think that distinction between the two makes this film incredible. And with the Pixar charm and everything else added into it, it was one of my favorite films of the year because I had fun with it. Again, emotion. This thing had my emotion. I was rooting for these characters and their motivation and their journey to get together or become who they really need to be. All the things in this movie made this movie a wonderful watch, and that is why it is my number 9 of 2023. Number 8, I have No Hard Feelings. Strange Wang, it's no secret. I love raunchy comedies from the 1980s, 1970s. If there's boobs in it for no reason, I'm trying to watch it.
You're a fucking pig.
Movies like Up the Creek, Animal House, Zapped, Porky's, stuff like that. Screwballs. I can go on for days. I love these fucking movies. They're stupid. I don't really have to pay attention to them too much. I can just sit back, turn my brain off, and enjoy it. See a little nudity, and just have a good fucking time. Most of these movies will probably be canceled, but No Hard Feelings, it gets in that small niche, and it exceeds expectations. I thought this movie was going to be trash. I thought it was going to be too raunchy, but it was the perfect amount of raunchy. You get to see Shorty, she gets butt-ass naked, but she's fighting. That's fucking cool. And the story hits that 80s nostalgia mark right on the fucking nose. And I absolutely loved it. I didn't think I would ever see another movie in that vein again. And then I saw this and I was like, it's a breath of fresh air. I loved it. Had to make my list. Something I'm going to rewatch over and over and over again for the rest of my life because the shit's just funny. And everyone likes to laugh, especially me. I love to laugh. Number 7, also kind of a raunchy comedy, is Joyride. Joyride was a joy to watch.
Whack.
Because I love movies about friendship. I love raunchy comedy. And this film just nails both. I had emotion, I had investment in these characters, and I laughed a lot. There's a lot of scenes in this movie that are kind of shocking, and that makes it even funnier than it should be. I laughed till I teared up. This film is so fucking funny. It's something I will rewatch again for the rest of my life. The story in it is just heartwarming. It will make you tear up a little bit. It's touching. It's the perfect blend of raunchy humor and emotion. And because of that, I absolutely love this movie and had to be on my top 10. Number 6, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. I didn't think this movie was going to be very good because Seth Rogen sucks.
Like a prostitute. Oh, man.
But I was mistaken. And I'm happy to eat crow on this one because this is one of the best movies I've seen all year.
Nice.
Everyone in the voice cast was outstanding. The soundtrack was mind-blowingly good. I didn't think I would ever hear Old Dirty Bastard and Gucci Man in a Ninja Turtles movie, but I did, and I loved it. You get a new spin on the Ninja Turtles, which I don't really mind. It's fresh, it's new, and it works. I can't wait till the sequel. Shredder's going to be in the sequel. It was nice to get away from Shredder for a little while. A breath of fresh air. Breathe. Past tense for breathe. I don't know. I should have studied more in English.
Clearly. No debating.
But the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles has new life, and I'm a huge Ninja Turtle fan. 1990s movie is something I love and care deeply about. It was one of my favorite movies from my childhood, and I can still watch it to this day and have that same enjoyment and nostalgia. But now I have something new to watch and something new to enjoy, and the lesson in it, the action, everything in this movie fucking works.
It's great.
Number 5 might be my most unexpected pick for my top 10. I didn't even plan on going to see this movie, but I was like, nothing else is in theaters right now. I guess I'll watch it. And that is Godzilla Minus One. Holy shit. This film is fucking incredible. It's a character piece about the Japanese government after World War II and a man's pride and how a man's supposed to act and feel and his commitment to his country and his relationship with his country and his relationship with his people and how that interacts. And Godzilla shows up for like 40 minutes to an hour and fucks shit up, and it's awesome. But that character study is what makes this film crazy good. I teared up watching a Godzilla movie. Never thought that would happen, but it did. This is basically Jaws in a sense, and it's without a doubt one of the best movies I've ever seen in my life because it just works on every fucking level. I didn't care that I had to read a movie. It wasn't a ton of reading, but the couple things I dislike in this film is there's 2 times, and if you've seen the film, you probably know, there's 2 times where it's like super fucking cheesy, and it's like, you know what? I'm so invested. I was kind of like, oh, you got me. I would probably be like, oh, well, that's predictable, but I was like, holy shit. There's moments where my mouth dropped in this movie theater, and I was just like, man, that's fucking cheesy, but I have all these feelings. They earned it. They didn't do this MCU, DC, this blockbuster shit where they just do shit and expect you to care. Because 9 times out of 10, you won't care. This film, it makes you care, and it earns those cheesy moments without a doubt. This film is the best Godzilla movie ever made, I would say. And it's going to be hard to top when it comes to big monster movies in general, because this movie has set the bar so fucking high.
That there's impressive.
Number 4 is going to be the Barbie movie. Another one that shocked me. I knew I was going to appreciate it. I was going to like it. I didn't think I was going to like it this much. This is a movie about becoming your own person, stepping out of society norms, something everyone can relate to and understand because we are all humans. We have emotions, and most of us don't know how to properly handle these emotions. We need help along the way. This is a live action Pixar movie, and it's top to bottom one of the funnest, creative, well-made movies of this year. And I hope it cleans up at the Oscars. Barbieheimer was fucking huge. This and Oppenheimer kind of saved cinema for the 2023 year. And I'm just glad this movie exists on top of all the joy it brought me while watching this movie. Number 3 is going to be the sequel to Into the SpiderVerse. This movie, honestly, doesn't really have much of a plot.
Am I lying?
You had the very paper-thin storyline of him and Spot just gets really evil out of nowhere. Then you have Spider-Man just doing Spider-Man shit. But my investment, because the first movie was so good and it earned it, my investment was on 10 out of 10. I couldn't be any more invested in this film if I wanted to. And to have a plot that just plants Easter eggs and builds and doesn't really give you much of anything to really, really, really care about. But my investment stays on 10 top to bottom. It just plants seeds the entire time. And then you get to the end, and Miles Morales is he's the villain of his own story. And you're like, damn, all these other Spider-Man, they some ops. It's interesting. You care. You want to see where these things lead. And then the finale, if you haven't seen it, oh my god, the greatest cliffhanger in all of cinema history is in this fucking animated movie. That's a superhero movie. I don't like superhero movies. I barely like animated movies if they're not made by Disney and Pixar. This year was very, very good for animated films, except for Wish. You can watch my top 10 worst of the year to see that movie and hear me talk about it.
So where were we?
That cliffhanger is something that the whole theater fucking exploded. They erupted. They were like, oh, edge of your seat entertainment. This film, number 3, is easily anticipated. You can watch my anticipated eyes somewhere in this video. Just the payoff that movie's going to bring based on all the seeds this film planted is insane. I can't wait for it. It might be the greatest trilogy of all time if that third film delivers, because the first two are so strong, and because the first two are so strong, I had to get a high spot for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse Part 2, or I don't remember what it's called, but I loved it. It was great. It's phenomenal.
Stupid.
Number 2, we have Poor Things. And maybe if I got a chance to watch my number 1, number 2 twice, they might have switched. But right now, Poor Things is my number 2. Poor Things is so relatable. It doesn't matter if you're a male or a female. It's a beautiful coming to age story with this Pinocchio Frankenstein twist, which makes it super interesting because this is a very much a adult version of those stories. And it's weird, it's quirky, it's thought-provoking, it has the emotion, the investment, the hard questions you ask yourself that these characters are making. It has these horror movie like, god damn it, girl, don't do that shit. It has those moments. It has everything I want in a movie in this movie. This film is utterly insane. But if you just took this premise and put it on paper, it's going to come off cheesy. It's not going to come off very good. It's going to be like, eye-rolling, like Sunday morning church type stuff. When you're a cynical teenager, you don't want to hear about this bare bones shit. But when you put it in a world that's so weird and unique and intriguing, like they did in Poor Things, it makes it hit 10 times harder. And because of the performances, the set design, all the good technical work in this film, the camera work, the scenery, everything in this film is directing, acting, every fucking thing. Everything is so good in this movie. It makes you don't have a choice but to be moved, but to think about this movie once you leave the theater, to feel some kind of feelings for each and every one of these characters. And for me, where I'm at in my life, this film hit, and I related to it, and I thought, and I took it and I put it in my own life, and I was like, man, we humans are unfortunately so complicated, and it's weird in this beautiful world, but I need to tone back some unnecessary shit and enjoy life more, like our character did in the beginning. So, wonderful film. Can't wait to watch it again. Should be coming out on Blu-ray soon, and I will be buying it first day and putting that bitch in and watching it immediately because it is that damn good.
And I'm not lying!
Number 1 is Are You There, God Is Me, Margaret. This film is incredibly written to have a 27-year-old male living in 2023 feel such a connection, relatability to this character that is a freshman middle school girl who's confused about her religion, whether she should follow in her father's footsteps or mother's footsteps of Christianity or be Jewish because her parents are one of each. The toughness of navigating through life has some things in common with Poor Things because it is a coming to age story, and coming to age stories is my favorite genre in cinema. So to have something that I can't connect to on paper when I see the trailer, and to watch it and just feel such connection and relatability, again, seeing someone grow up and that innocent time in their life is honestly one of the most beautiful things in the world. And when we're children, we are living and life goes by so fast, we missed it. So if we have kids or kids we know from because we're uncles or aunts or whatever the case may be, or because of cinema, we can see that beautiful process again. And this film is so sweet. It is thought-provoking, emotional connection is there, and the investment is there. And to see her during this difficult time in her life makes for wonderful, compelling, intriguing cinema. And the people in front of the camera and behind the camera are all very, very talented, and they are very good to keep you invested in the story, except for Benny Safdie. He did not play a very good father, but he's alright. He was good in Oppenheimer, I guess. But he's a wonderful director. Nonetheless, this film is just, if you just want to watch a movie and have all the feelings in your body release at the end, that sounded weird. If you want to watch a movie and feel it's just like a new person, you want to go and do good in the world, you want to just feel and connect and love humans and just be the best person you can possibly be, watch this fucking movie. You'll be entertained. You'll come out honestly a better person, because this film is just so fucking innocent. It's so joyful, and it's something that rarely is done in cinema, which is why it's my favorite movie of the year. I absolutely loved it. I loved a lot of movies in 2023. I also disliked a lot of movies in 2023, but the 10 movies I have on here, there was about 12 that were really considering for this list, but I don't do that because it's not a top 12, it's a top 10. So those other 2 movies you will never know. But let me know your favorite movies of 2023 in the comment section down below. Scroll back up, hit the like button, share the video, and subscribe.